Hi Tarot Tribe, it's Ethany, and today I am doing another My Spiritual Journey video. And this one, I know I've heard about this happening to other people in our tribe. I hear about it all the time in readings, and it's really a reflection on my experience of what I did when I had a boyfriend in the past who wasn't very understanding, and I feel in a lot of ways didn't really like my spiritual path. So off the bat, first of all, I want to say I have been incredibly fortunate. This is not a pity party story at all. I have been so fortunate in my coming out of the broom closet and doing what I do spiritually. I have not had any really negative experiences. I haven't had friends diss me or say we can't be friends anymore, which has been incredible considering I have friends from all different walks of life and all different paths. My parents are incredibly supportive, always have been. My siblings are very supportive. They may not understand it fully, but they are very supportive of me and they love me for who I am. So I haven't had a, torch and pitchforks kind of experience, but I know a lot of people have. I know a lot of people have had family disown them, or they've had to leave home, or especially teenagers. I know people who've had breakups over it and all sorts of stuff like that. So it's not, this is not a light subject. So therefore I want to acknowledge upfront that I have actually had a very easy path in a lot of ways. But one of the things that I did come up against was my very first real long-term boyfriend was not into it, was not cool with it at all. I would get feedback like, you're a different person when you come back from seeing your circle and your coven and your girls and your community. He just didn't understand it. I still made time for it. I still made time for my spiritual path and for my my own development and journey, but he just was not having it. He just did not like it. I didn't feel like I could share anything with him. Special days like our Sabbats and Esbats and celebrations, it wasn't really understood that it is a special day and why it's a special day and why you're doing certain things at certain times and how come you have to be out until 2 a.m. on a Saturday night, for all he knew, running naked under the full moon, which, was only on special occasions. You don't whip out the nutty on any occasion. But he didn't kind of get why would I want to invest my time in that. And let's unpack that a little bit. So when we come across resistance like that, we're coming across the age-old thing of people fearing what they do not understand. Now, a positive example of what to do when you don't understand something is what my father did. Now, and this completely shocked me. And my dad is very English and I love him very, 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 very much. But he's very English, and it took a long time for my father to be able to communicate affection, and he wasn't always like great at it, just because he comes from a family that wasn't great at it, but he's much better with it now. But he wouldn't share a lot of stuff. So the type of person that when they say something, it's really important to listen. That's my dad. So he told me, we were sitting down and he was giving me advice on what to do about this relationship, and he told me that he actually read some of my books. And I was kind of like, what? Come again? I didn't know this. I didn't know that he went out of his way to try and understand my path. I mean, I'm sure a part of it, because I found Wicca and paganism at 15, and I'm sure a part of it was making sure that I wasn't doing anything stupid and that I wasn't doing anything dangerous. But at this point, I was like 18 or 19. And I think maybe he's like, this isn't a fad, so maybe I should have a look into this. So he actually read some of my books to understand it. Now that's what an aware, a mature, person would do when they come across something they don't understand. Most people aren't wired that way, and my boyfriend never really took the time, even though, you know, I tried. I even read tarot for him on a number of occasions. You know, I did try. I invited him to community things. I invited him to meet my friends, my sisters, my coven sisters, my friends, and he just it wasn't his thing. And that's fine. It doesn't need to be your thing. Partnerships don't need to be joined at the hip, but there needs to be a respect there in order for that relationship to keep going and to be beneficial for both parties. And there needs to be an understanding that this person does need their space and time to do what they need to do to feel like themselves. So that's a good example, but we all come across people who don't want to know. They either have a conviction within them that what you're doing is just plain wrong, and no matter how many, I mean, let's have a look at global warming, right? And I love John Oliver's recent, it wasn't recent, I think it was like the first season, he said about, you do not need, your opinion does not matter when it comes to truth. And it doesn't. If 1,000 scientists say that the planet is warming up and one idiot says, no, it's not, the 1,000 scientists are not wrong. The idiot just doesn't want to admit the truth. So, as you can tell, I think that the world is, in fact, warming up, because, in fact, it is. So that's the same thing. You know, just because you don't want to know something doesn't mean that it isn't the way it is. And I feel like I have lost my tangent. But yeah, so it's like this not wanting to know, not wanting to understand because this person has it in their mind that they are right and you are wrong, or they have a conception of what you're doing and what it is and what it makes you or how it makes you. And it makes people scared. And part of what I believed it for myself at the time, and I haven't really reflected on it lately, because I mean, we broke up many, many, many years ago, was that I feel like it empowered me. Wicca and paganism, if you are doing it right, it should be an empowering path, a path that asks you to sit in the seat of your power and to be the creator of your life and the creator of your own magic. So I think that was threatening to him, and he saw that as a threat to our relationship. And again, the fear thing comes in. So what do you do when you have someone like this? First of all, know that people are the way that they are. They have their conditioning, they have their background, they have their experiences, they might have had a bad experience. So understand with love and understanding, even though they may not be giving that to you, that they come with a lot of baggage, because we all come with baggage. So if we can sit with that from a place of love and understanding and know that they are just a little misled, it can take the sharpness out of it. It still may hurt, but it can take a little bit of that feeling of maybe betrayal out of it. And then secondly, you can offer olive branches, or offer, you know, have you read this website, or here's a book, could you please read it? Do you have any questions? Try to be as open as you can about the exchange, if the person is willing. If the person is not, well, then it may be just the universe saying it's time to say goodbye. Some people come around naturally when things have time to sit, and when they have had time to reflect and time to grow, they may come around later and want to bring that conversation back into a realm of maybe some understanding, but they may not as well. So it is very situational. There is a different way of maybe dealing with things or coping. From my experience of having a boyfriend who doesn't really understand and being kicked out of your home because your parents don't agree with your path, or living in a town where it's just not cool to be out of the closet, of any closet, let's face it. Some places it's just not cool, it's just not safe, which is scary, and my heart goes out to you if you're living in any of those areas. You are not alone, and you are very loved, even if you're just surrounded by idiots. So it is very situational, but do what you can to find support. And the most amazing thing about the internet, as full as trolls as it is that you can find online support. Find communities online on Facebook, on Meetup. Oh, Meetup is so great. And I'm going to do another video on how to find your people. And then I'm also going to do another video on my experiences on working on my own as a solitary, because that's how I started, and then working in a coven, because I've had a few groups. So there's a lot of videos in this series, but this was more on just, what to do, and maybe where they're coming from, where their heart space is. And it's a bit of a short one because it is situational. I feel like it is a situational thing. But you also have to know where your boundaries are. So you don't have to put up with crap from people. If people will show you who they really are through their actions. Their words are one thing, their actions are always another. So know that you don't have to put up with crap, and know that you have all of the divine right to say no to somebody, and to say that makes me feel uncomfortable, or I am not enjoying this exchange anymore. Even so much as to write a passionate email saying, we need to be able to have a relationship that is this, and put your boundaries in place. I'm all for getting a bit of space from things if things are getting a little heated, and then writing my feelings out, because I'm a Gemini and I need to communicate. And then if I feel good about it, I'll still send it. So with my boyfriend, getting back to the boyfriend that I had, it was unfortunately one of the deciding factors for us breaking up, or me breaking up with him. And it took 2 years after we broke up for us to kind of reconcile energy. And it wasn't we had a massive fight about Wicca or paganism. That wasn't it at all. But when you go through the process of kind of reflecting on whether a relationship is good for you or not, that was one of the things that made me feel like I couldn't really be who I was. And that's an awful, shitty way to feel. So I can't imagine anyone repressing any part of themselves. So it was a big part of the reason why I broke up with him. I actually went to the very first Combined Covens social club. If you're in Western Australia, Perth, Western Australia, or Western Australia area, connect with the Combined Covens social club. They are amazing, and I miss them all so much. Every year I look at the camp photos from spring camp and I get like teary, like I want to be there. Since moving, it was my first camp that I went to. I was working at a store called the Sun, Moon and Stars, and the owner, Tamara Lampard, who's a local high priestess and a celebrant and an amazing woman, and one of my mentors, took me. And I felt like I'd come home. I was surrounded by all these people that most of them I'd never met in my life. They were so open and welcoming and lovely. I was in nature all weekend. It's a campsite, but it's got like a little brook that runs through it. And I was just like, this is how I should be feeling. And if I'm not even feeling a part of this in my relationship, then something is missing. If I feel like I have to repress this in my relationship, something is missing. Now, that was the right decision for me at the time. This is not me saying if your boyfriend don't get what you like, or if you're not, then go break up with them. I'm saying that for me, that was the right decision to make, and I don't regret it at all, because it is who I am, and it's not going to change. But you do have to assess the dynamic of the relationship, the future of the relationship, how long you've been, friends for, and try as much as you can to either heal it or have a bridge of understanding between two people. If not, then maybe you do have to walk away from it. But always go to a place where you can really reflect and be introspective and think about it before you sever any really special ties. So yeah, that's what I had that situation. It took me months to come to that conclusion for me, but I found support from my community. I found support from my friends and my family, so I was very lucky. And if you want me to do more videos on kind of dealing with coming out of the broom closet, or anything like that, please do request videos, because I will be doing all the requests for this series. If you have any questions, please comment below. I love hearing from you all. If you like this video, thank you. Leave a comment and subscribe, and thank you so much for watching.